Dallas Goldtooth is a writer, comedian, and actor, and a Chicago local, starring in the new Apple TV Plus series, The Last Frontier. Thank you so much for your time today.
I'm so happy to be here.
We're so happy to chat with you. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. And, what is it like to be able to celebrate that here in Chicagoland, with your community?
Um, every day is a good day to be Indigenous. Every day is a good day to celebrate the long storied history of Indigenous resistance. I'm just celebrating with my family, celebrating with everybody else on all the variety of ways that we thrive as Native peoples, whether that be everyday jobs or whether it be me acting in a TV show. I think it's always good to celebrate um, the Indigenous excellence across the board.
Yeah, we also want to talk a little bit about the exhibit at one of the local museums here. We'll chat about that in a moment. But first, The Last Frontier, the premise of the show, wild. It is exciting. Tell us a little bit about that and a little bit about Hutch, the character that you play.
Yeah, so Last Frontier is it's Con Air meets The Fugitive for those that remember those classic movies.
I
Uh,
do.
the the concept's pretty straightforward. It's an airplane carrying a number of federal inmates, convicts, crash lands in the remote areas of Alaska, and it's up to the U.S. federal marshals, which I play one of the U.S. marshals. It's our job to track them down, but one of them is a rogue agent of some sort, and really the show is about who's this guy, why was he on this plane, and what is his mission, and that's the concept, but there's a lot of wild twists and turns throughout it, and it's pretty action packed. It's pretty great.
Yeah, because we talk a little. Did you film everything in Alaska, or where was the show filmed?
We filmed primarily in Quebec, based out of Montreal. We did end up filming some scenes in Alberta, up in the mountains, and so Canada represents Alaska in the series.
The script and the different wild directions that it took, like especially when you got to see it at the beginning, where you're like, oh my goodness, like this is something I want to be a part of.
To be absolutely honest, I was nervous. I mean, my background predominantly is comedy, and so to be offered a role that's like a straightforward action-packed drama, like I think that I had some anxiety at first of like, how can I pull this off? But the team, from all the way from the top of Apple all the way down to the crew on the ground, super supportive, really collaborative, and I was most excited about the action and stunt sequences. In the first episode, we have a long one taker, which is filmed in one take. It's like 6 to 8 minutes long, and we had a lot of rehearsals for that scene, and that was pretty exciting to be a part of.
Is this something that you kind of see, or the trajectory of your career kind of taking some more of these roles, or is comedy and maybe infusing a little bit more of that kind of the route that you like to take?
I'm open to everything. I seriously want to see I want to do a rom-com someday. I'd love to continue with the action work. It's fun, it's exciting. It's difficult. I mean, we shot a lot of these scenes in outside negative degree weather, but it was a wonderful challenge overall.
Yeah, and especially the series just premiered. We just already got to see the beginning of it, but talk a little bit about that aspect. So I think when you're in Chicago and you think of maybe a similar storyline here. I mean, you have buildings and lights and street lights, and there's so much going on. But there, it's just there's certain parts where you can get lost in the darkness and the outside. Like, talk a little bit about that filming location versus maybe like a big city setting.
Yeah, I think Montreal was such a beautiful city. I fell in love with Montreal. It gave off some Chicago vibes, great food, great peoples overall. But we filmed in pretty remote areas, like you said, that were I mean, I grew up in Minnesota. I grew up in the country. I'm a country boy at heart, and so it felt at home in many ways to be in such quiet and still areas to create the story. I've also have a lot of experience having been and gone to Northern Alaska where the show takes place. And so I felt like we did a decent job. It being we're filming in Southeast Canada, I feel like we did a good job representing the beautiful landscapes of Alaska.
That is amazing. Let's talk a little bit about the exhibit at the Field Museum that people can go ahead and check out now.
Yeah, the Field Museum has done a tremendous job over the years of making sure that we represent Native peoples. They have a substantial, a quite large collection of Native American items collected over the years, sometimes often collected not in the best ways, questionable ways. Um, and so as a result of that, And as a result of trying to tell Native stories better, the museum has created a whole new exhibit that is dedicated to telling contemporary Native stories, as well as showing, historical artifacts and items along with it. So if you go to the museum right now, you actually will see me projected on one of the screens in one of my roles in the TV show Reservation Dogs, which is kind of crazy that I'm in a museum. I'm alive. I'm still here, but I'm in the museum.
I hope you got plenty of photos and plenty of opportunities to go ahead and check that out as well too. I mean, like you said, it's a unique opportunity to have.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think I encourage everybody to go to the Field Museum, see what they have on display. I think that it's a part of this ongoing effort to make sure that museums are held accountable to not only how they display Native American items, but also be open about how they obtained a lot of those artifacts. A lot of museums obtained them in way by via grave robbing or taking advantage of a Native artist. So I think it's an ongoing dialogue that it seems like the Field Museum is open to have.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also a wonderful opportunity, whether it's today, this month, to be able to go ahead and check that out because, through visiting a museum, through comedy, through shared meals, you get to understand different cultures. And sometimes that's not always the easiest to do, but when you have those different platforms, it makes us realize, we're more similar than we are different, which is sometimes kind of hard to do, you know, in any type of environment. So this is wonderful.
Well, I tell you what, given the current times and all that's happening, I think it's more important than ever to learn about other communities, other cultures, open yourself up to the histories of all different people so that we can come to the table together and share a meal and have shared vision about the future.
And then finally here, let's talk, obviously, you're a Chicago local. Any projects or anything taking place in Chicagoland in the next couple of months?
Surprisingly, no. Like a lot of my jobs are outside Chicago, but I'm always looking forward to some local work. There's a booming industry here, stage and film, that I'm really proud to be a part of, but haven't booked any gigs local in a while. But I have a lot of folks who are a part of this industry here and are proud members of the unions here.
Awesome. Well, Dallas, thank you so much for your time today. The Last Frontier streaming on Apple TV Plus. Go ahead and check it out. It is a wild, wild ride. And thank you so much for your time today.
I appreciate it. See you around.
Thank you.